The Gold Coast Film Festival held a special Long Island filmmakers panel at the Port Washington Library on June 4th. The 5 filmmakers all grew up on Long Island. They shared their stories with the audience about how they first got into filmmaking, how their experiences on Long Island shaped their work, their experiences in the film industry, and their passion for the craft. Rebecca Lawrence is an actress who grew up in Roslyn. Kevin Ash, a director from Great Neck. Seth Swirsky, also from Great Neck. Ryan Silbert, who grew up in Port Washington. And Kirta Baruth, who grew up in West Islip. Academy Award winner Ryan Silbert, also a Schreiber High School graduate, says his early experiences in the community definitely had an influence on him as a filmmaker.
Where we are now, which is the Port Washington Library, was pretty influential in that. In high school, I ran a group that I think maybe still exists, which is called Communication Workshop, which used storytelling as conflict resolution or to talk about problems for teens. And it was teen run, and it was very well attended and grew into a very hard thing to get into. And I think storytelling is a great medium to communicate so many different kinds of emotions that sometimes you can't speak about, or it gives a platform to speak about those emotions after the movie. In that way, Port Washington was very influential. There's a very supportive community for that.
Earlier this year, Silbert and his colleagues won an Oscar for their film God of Love. He talked about that experience with the audience.
We had an amazing group of people around us who were all NYU grad film students doing this for their thesis film, for Luke Matheny's thesis film. When we read the script, we thought maybe we would win the screenwriting award at the university. Maybe we'd be considered for it, And clearly it went on to win multiple awards, among which Academy Award is one of them. So you don't know. You can never tell. The Academy Award was a pretty incredible experience, and I've said this a couple of times, and our whole group agrees with this. Everybody who went to the Academy Award and was part of that film. You don't make films with an end goal of going to win an award or go to a film festival. You go to make films because you want to tell a story, and you share that with an audience.
Kevin Ash says he was also influenced by his early experiences. He says he's thrilled to be able to bring his latest film, Holy Rollers, back to his hometown theater to share it with the community as part of the festival.
Yeah, I'm showing it at the Squire Theater in Great Neck, and that's where I would go every weekend to see movies growing up. I'm excited. I haven't been inside the Squire Theater since high school, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a lot of full circle type experience with that for the movie in general, and this is one of them. So it's very special. I mean, I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker immediately, when I was a child. Before I understood what a director was, I would tell people I wanted to be an architect or an entertainer. And that's what actually directing is. It's like you build worlds for the purpose of entertainment. So when I knew what a director was, I watched home video of Taxi Driver and Clockwork Orange one day with my film geek friend growing up. I was 11. And that moment on, I knew exactly what a director was, and I'm still that kid, saying that's what I'm going to do.
Kirta Baruth's documentary film, Bob and the Monster, was a big winner at the festival. She shared her career path with the audience.
Documentary filmmaking was something that I happened upon, and I ended up getting a job at Saturday Night Live, and I worked under Jim Signorelli, who was the film unit director. And so their 25th anniversary special, Jim had mentored me and had me shoot footage of the show for a week at Saturday Night Live. And so that really was when I was bit by that bug. I was really attracted to having a camera and being a fly on the wall and watching people in their lives. And so that was the beginning of my career as a filmmaker.
All of the filmmakers seem to agree that having a film festival like this on the North Shore of Long Island is a good thing for filmmakers and film goers.
I think it's great. I mean, I think anything that brings filmmaking or filmmaking awareness to a community that, is passionate about storytelling and has so many theaters, I think this is a huge step forward for filmmakers and for the audience. I think it's going to expose the audience to really interesting films. The programming has been amazing.
I think that Sean and Deborah and the programmers at Gold Coast have been doing an amazing job. They've made everybody feel really welcome and well curated, which is always a positive. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
To wrap it up, these accomplished filmmakers shared their best advice for all the aspiring filmmakers out there.
Be ready to be tested at every moment, and to be willing to push through that and sacrifice and believe in what you're doing and to keep doing it, keep on keeping on. I mean, there's really not one clear, easy path or advice, except that if you really don't love it, then it's really not worth it, and it really isn't, because if there's other things in your life that you're more in love with, that's maybe where you should put your focus and find where in your life this passion of film or what it may be may fit. It may not be as a professional in the business. There's a few far between of being somebody who appreciates it and then actually doing it, and or somebody that dreams of doing it and executing it. It's tested me at every minute. It still does, and there's nothing more that I want.
You have to take advantage of the fact that you live in a very supportive community of people who are there for you, and really find your heroes within the community who can work with you. Whether it's a location owner, who, if you have the location, then you can shoot there. It's all about getting the hours in to practice your craft. You should just go out there with a small camera, like easily available, or go out there with your iPhone with a bunch of friends, start shooting. Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hour rule for the Beatles, and how many hours of practice they had before they actually hit. That's true. I think that's true for any filmmaker, and I think just getting out there, and this is the opportunity to do that. I think this is the generation now where we're going to see tremendous advancements in storytelling.
And Ryan Silbert predicts a strong future for the Gold Coast Film Festival.
The Gold Coast Film Festival, in terms of being so new to the scene, I think is identifying a need within a community of people looking to band together and talk about film. And I think it's going to hopefully elicit more discussion about film. Hopefully it'll be something where filmmakers can feel like there's an audience for their films, and that then they in turn will make more movies, or make movies in Port Washington, in Great Neck, in town North Hempstead. I think this is a really visionary program, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes and what comes from it.
And that's a wrap. In Port Washington, Chris Collora reporting.